Okay, I'm going to give you some background. We are now suddenly in Isaiah chapter 36. We skipped a lot of stuff that would not have been interesting. Earlier in the book of Isaiah, Isaiah was the prophet to King Ahaz. Now, Ahaz is gone, and his son, Hezekiah, is king. We are in the year 714 BC. Hezekiah is king of Judea, the southern kingdom of the people of God. Hezekiah has done his best to reform the religion of the people of God. There were shrines, high places, and sacred poles at which the Judeans were worshiping false gods. There were all sorts of shrines to idols and false gods and to the gods of the pagans who surround the Israelites. It was bad. And Hezekiah does his best to eliminate those. He even takes the bronze serpent that Moses made and destroys it. Why? Well, if you remember the story back in Exodus, where Moses makes a bronze serpent and holds it aloft because everyone was getting bitten by poisonous snakes. And if they looked at the serpent held aloft by Moses, they were cured. In the New Testament, Jesus says that as Moses held up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man be held up, raised up for all to see, meaning when he's crucified. But this very serpent that Moses made as a sign to heal the people of God, they started worshiping as an idol. And now, several hundred years after Moses made it, Hezekiah even has to destroy the bronze serpent. In other words, the Jews are worshiping everything they can get their hands on, but the real God. Meanwhile, politically, the Assyrians have become an empire. Earlier, Ahaz had turned to them for help against Damascus and Samaria, but now Assyria is taking over the entire Middle East. And at this point, a representative of the king of Assyria has appeared before the walls of Jerusalem and before several representatives of Hezekiah. And he taunts them. And he says, "Give up. Your God's not going to be able to stop us. We Assyrians have destroyed all the other peoples who put their faith in their own gods. What makes you think that your God is going to do any good? And by the way, if you don't submit to us and allow us to take you into exile, you residents of Jerusalem, here's what we're going to do. We will besiege you. We will allow no food in. You will be cut off. It will get so bad that you will be starving. You'll have to eat your own poop and drink your own pee. That's how bad it's going to get." Now, the representatives of Hezekiah are listening, as are a bunch of people sitting on the walls of Jerusalem who have been told not to say anything. The representatives, Eliakim and the others, go back to King Hezekiah. Hezekiah says, "What did the Assyrians say?" They go back to him and their clothes are torn. Why? That's a sign of mourning and woe. Eliakim and the other representatives of the king have torn their garments. And then they say to Hezekiah, "It's hopeless. There's nothing we can do." That's where we are. Isaiah is going to get involved again as a prophet, but now this is a different political situation than we had in the earlier chapters. So now you're brought up to date, at least in Isaiah. Welcome to 714 BC, the good old days. Oh, that's when things were better. Yes, indeed.